Back in 2011, I participated in a trail running race. This event was completely for charity. I knew that all the proceeds from the race would go to a charity that helps people with disabilities who need help. This made me feel very proud. When I arrived at the race site, the sound of people laughing and cheering kept coming. Representatives from charities were promoting and raising money for their organizations. I even saw some disabled people there, who were just as enthusiastic and motivated as everyone else. I was greeted by an enthusiastic staff member and quickly collected my race number and other necessary items. I quickly settled into the family and did a warm-up drill with the other competitors. I felt full of energy and motivation and ready to take on the challenge of this charity trail run. The terrain for this trail run was very challenging, and runners had to deal with all types of terrain and weather conditions. The start of the race was on a wide green grass field. The course passes through a steep hill and a swift river. The referee stood at the very center of the start and raised the starting gun. His hand was steady on the handle and his eyes were focused and determined. The staff next to him checked each runner's equipment and number plate under the instructions of the referee to ensure the fairness and safety of the race. With a loud gunshot, the competition officially began. The race site was bustling with spectators cheering and cheering. Some time after we set off, the sky became increasingly cloudy. A cool breeze blew across my cheeks. It seemed like it was about to rain and the temperature dropped a bit. I didn't lose my motivation because I knew I had put in too much effort to just give up so easily. Just then, a river appeared in front of me. It was the widest river in the race. After crossing this river, I was not far from the finish line. I took a deep breath and sped up my pace to save as much time as possible. I knew that the second half of the course would be tougher and require more physical strength and endurance. I swam across that wide river without any problems. When I got to shore, my body was shaking. I realized I was losing heat and it was bad. I sped up as fast as I could to try to regain my body's temperature. However, no matter how fast I sped up, my body still couldn't stop shivering. My footsteps became heavier and heavier, and my breathing became more and more difficult. I wanted to stop and take a break, but didn't dare stop because I knew it would make my loss of temperature worse. Slowly, my vision began to blur. I lost consciousness. I don't know how long it took, but I felt my soul leave my body. I saw my body lying on the ground with people surrounding me. Then, a car pulled up next to my body and two paramedics got out of the car. They walked toward me and began to resuscitate me. I felt very frightened because I did not know what was happening. My mind became a little confused, but I could clearly see the paramedics working around me. They checked my pulse and breathing, and then began CPR. I felt like a bystander. I couldn't feel any physical sensations. I didn't know if my soul had actually left my body or if it was just a hallucination. But I knew that this moment was very important to me and that my life was in danger. Suddenly, I felt a powerful force above my head that was sucking me in. This black hole was spinning continuously. My soul was getting closer to the black hole and I started to feel fear. I didn't know what was going to greet me. I was completely controlled and allowed the black hole to suck my soul into it. Then, I was taken to a strange world. There was darkness all around me, no sound, and no light. But I wasn't afraid. Instead I felt an inexplicable sense of peace and tranquility. I don't know how long I stayed here, maybe a few minutes, maybe a few hours. Time became blurred here. I saw a bright light appear ahead. When I was about to approach the bright light, I felt a strong force blocking me. It was as if an invisible force was pulling me backwards. Every step I took became extremely difficult. As if every step forward was going to consume all my strength. With great effort, I finally stepped into the light. The feeling here was completely different from before, as if I was in a completely different world. There was a warmth in the air, and I felt myself wrapped in a calming energy. Here, I felt a strong wave of love. This energy was stronger than any kind of love I had ever experienced. This love was so pure, as if it could eliminate all pain and worry. I felt that my soul was purified here. I became freer and more perfect. This is a very special place that fills me with courage and strength. Suddenly, a person appeared behind me. It was as if he was watching me. I didn't dare to look back. Then, I heard a voice, which was full of power and authority. I knew this voice, it was the voice of Jesus. I slowly turned around and saw a man in a white robe with a cross on his chest. He was Jesus. His eyes were filled with love and tenderness. Jesus reached out his hand and gently stroked my head. The feeling was as gentle as a father touching his son. I felt my heart being surrounded by this warmth and love. As I walked up to Jesus, he seemed to already know how I had died. He said to me in a soft tone, "I know all that you have done for others, my son." Jesus then expressed his appreciation for my actions. He said, "Such actions of yours can make the world a better place, my child. Your kindness and efforts will inspire others." When I heard Jesus' appreciation for my actions, I began to feel embarrassed and even a little guilty. I thought that what I was doing was very small. However, Jesus dismissed my thoughts by saying, "Don't underestimate what you have done, my child. Every little thing has its significance and makes a big impact." I was a little surprised by Jesus' words because I had never thought that my actions would have such a big impact. He continued, "Every little thing has the potential to change a person, or even the whole world." Next. With a wave of Jesus' hand, a screen appeared in front of me. I saw a homeless man. I remembered him, I had helped him 3 years earlier. I gave this homeless man some money and clothes then. He was very grateful to me. He told me he had been on the street for a long time with little to show for it. He was honored to have met me and felt that my help had changed his fate. Then I saw his life behind him. In the following days, he found a stable job and restarted his life. I was very happy to see such a scene. But I was surprised that the homeless man now also became a volunteer and often went to the nursing home to help other elderly people. I was a little surprised because I never thought my help would have such a big impact. But it's also very gratifying to know that my good deeds have led to more good deeds. This homeless man has now become a person who changes the lives of others as well. He helps other seniors and makes them feel happier and more content. This event made me feel the power of kindness, which can change a person's fate and pass it on to others. Through my help, this homeless man also found his purpose and meaning and became a more valuable person. Then, I saw another image. At one point in my work, a new colleague came into the company. I unintentionally said something that hurt him. I didn't realize how much my actions hurt this new colleague. Soon, this new colleague resigned. I did not know the reason for his departure at that time. Next, I saw what his life was like after he left. He had doubts about his ability to do his job. He had not found a new job for a long time and was increasingly lacking the confidence and courage to interview for a new job. I felt very guilty because I realized that my actions had had a profound effect on him. Jesus did not judge me. Jesus made me begin to reevaluate my actions and realize that even small actions can have a huge impact. Jesus gave me a new perspective. I began to see what I was doing. This revelation has had a huge impact on my life going forward. In my conversations with Jesus, He also communicated to me more knowledge. Finally, as our conversation drew to a close, Jesus told me, "It's time to take what you've learned and go back." This statement made me feel a little regretful because I didn't want to leave Jesus. But at the same time, I felt excitement and anticipation because I knew I was going to go back and apply what I had learned to real life. I said goodbye to Jesus and expressed my gratitude to Him. Jesus gave me some words of blessing and encouragement that made me feel confident and courageous. When I was back in the tunnel again, I didn't feel as scared as I did the last time. Instead, I felt full of courage and determination. I felt a change in my surroundings. The walls of the tunnel were no longer gray and gloomy, but full of life and vibrant colors. Finally, my soul re-entered my body. When I woke up from the ambulance, I felt in a very good state. I wanted to finish the rest of the race. I saw the doctors and nurses busy checking my body. I told them I was fine and that I could continue the race. But the doctors refused my offer and told me I had to be examined and treated more thoroughly in the hospital. In the hospital, I described to the doctors my experience of seeing Jesus. They looked at me with different eyes. Only I knew what I had experienced. I realized that I had gained a deeper insight and revelation during my experience. I knew what I should do next. I should take what I learned back to real life. Use my own actions to convey this revelation and help those who are in need.